When Quentin Tarantino talks about movies, you listen. The man behind Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill knows a thing or two about what makes a film great. So when he dubs a movie a masterpiece, it's time to take notice. Here are 6 films that Tarantino himself has given the ultimate seal of approval. While most people would point to John Carpenter's Halloween as his crowning achievement, a horror classic that put him on the map, Tarantino seems to have a soft spot for Dark Star instead. Released in 1974, this was Carpenter's first feature, born out of his days as a film student. Though Carpenter himself wasn't too thrilled with how it turned out, calling it a disappointment, Tarantino has a different take. He's all about it, calling Dark Star a science fiction masterpiece, an early 70s masterpiece, and a counterculture, anti-establishment, hippie filmmaking masterpiece. Next up is an unexpected favorite, Apocalypto, directed by none other than Mel Gibson. Released back in 2006, this epic flick throws us straight into the 1500s during the decline of the Maya civilization, with every line of dialogue spoken in the Maya language. It might not have won over all the critics, but plenty of filmmakers absolutely loved it. Martin Scorsese even went so far as to call it a vision. Tarantino, in turn, called Apocalypto a masterpiece and said that it was perhaps the best film of that year. Tarantino has always loved Japanese cinema, paying particular homage to it in Kill Bill. He has labeled several Japanese movies as masterpieces, starting with Audition, the violent horror movie directed by Takashi Miike, which has clearly inspired Tarantino's own work. A true masterpiece if there ever was one, he once said. The movie's surprising ending has continued to shock viewers since it was released in 1999, with the depiction of torture making for a highly challenging watch. Tarantino was amazed by the way Miike's movie played with the audience, describing the ending as one of the wildest leaps I've ever seen anyone do as far as orchestrating an audience goes. The director also loves Sonatine, directed by Takeshi Kitano, a Yazuka film that helped to completely transform the subgenre through its absurdist approach to violence. In a video discussing his love for the film, Tarantino explained, "This was a bracing bucket of cold water in the face of the Japanese film industry and Yakuza films, and critics loved it," before referring to the Russian roulette sequence as a masterpiece. Tarantino has never been afraid to make a controversial statement, and one of his most divisive opinions is that Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov was fraudulent. Instead, he heralded the Adrian Lyne version, released to much controversy in 1997, as far superior, calling it a masterpiece. The 90s adaptation depicted more of the book's shocking moments, which we won't, of course, name here, and this resulted in the movie being heavily criticized. On a lighter note, Tarantino dubbed Toy Story 3 a masterpiece, and even called it his favorite movie of 2010. The third installment in the beloved series cranked up the emotional stakes, with the toys nearly meeting their end and facing off against the villainous Lotso the bear. In the end, the toys find a new home, as Andy heads off to college, leaving even the toughest audience members reaching for tissues. It might be surprising to picture Tarantino loving a family-friendly flick, but there's no denying Toy Story 3's place as an animated masterpiece.